This reflects an emotional manipulation strategy that the mainstream media have been using for decades, and now they are deploying it in real time, live on air. A caller bravely phoned into LBC to highlight a truth that has been confirmed by numerous victims, official reports, and whistleblowers. The majority of grooming gangs are made up of men of Pakistani origin. However, instead of acknowledging this reality, presenter Sheila Fogarty flatly denied it. She dismissed the facts, relying on misleading statistics that have already been debunked by investigations such as the Casey report, among others. This isn't merely a case of ignorance. It's part of a deeply entrenched media narrative, the same one that helped conceal these crimes from public view for years. But society is beginning to wake up. It's clear how firmly she clings to her position, refusing to acknowledge the evidence, continuing to play her role in shielding the established power structures. Sooner or later, her time will come. Before we continue with the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.
The whole of the country needs to know that there's gangs of Pakistani men going around targeting young, white, helpless English girls and getting them on drugs and pimping them out to their friends and family and raping them 10 a day, 20 a day.
Listen, John.
Scout clubs and all this stuff. In fact, we know that goes on.
Yeah.
But this is the biggest scandal ever this country has ever known.
But
and if we don't have inquiry, we won't all know.
Do you accept that it isn't just Pakistani men?
In the grooming gangs, it basically is.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Then you, John, haven't been watching the news closely enough.
I have been watching the news. The grooming gangs.
They're not all Pakistani. Plenty of them are white, and plenty of them are women on and off. You see women in the group as well.
It's 90% Pakistani men.
Listen, John, nobody is denying that there are grooming gangs in all.
It isn't.
I'm not suggesting it isn't.
It's not all. It's not all, but it's 90 to 95%.
No, it isn't 90 to 95%. It isn't, John. And also, John. Also,
the grooming gangs. What they're doing, the drugs, get them involved in drugs and pimping them out. They are done by Pakistani grooming gangs.
Not only.
Oh, come on. You know what?
That's all I'm saying.
You can't keep whitewashing this subject.
I'm not whitewashing anything, John. The other thing you've got wrong, John, the other thing you've got wrong is to suggest that this has been happening for 20-odd years only. This has happened from
20, 30 years.
It's happened and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that, and 10 years before that. There have always been, John, there have always been predatory men individually and together who...
This is a new thing. This grooming gang thing, this is a new thing.
It's really not a new thing.
This was the audience's reaction following the broadcast. Numerous comments made it clear that there was widespread frustration with Sheila Fogarty's attitude. One user bluntly stated that history will not judge her kindly. Another, visibly shaken, shared that he had heard the show while driving and was left deeply disturbed by what he heard. Upon seeing the presenter's expression, he said it was evident she was afraid to confront the truth. Joe remarked that, in his view, Fogarty bears just as much responsibility as the political leaders who have allowed this situation to continue unchecked. Another commenter warned that she may only truly react when the issue affects her personally, and only then will she grasp the full extent of the problem. The criticism didn't stop there. One commenter described the presenter as a pathetic figure and questioned her refusal to acknowledge that individuals from certain ethnic backgrounds can also commit horrific crimes. He also criticized the naivety of those who still believe that everyone crossing the channel in small boats are doctors or engineers, pointing out that among them are also individuals involved in serious criminal acts. In his view, Fogarty's ideological bias is so deeply ingrained that it has become irreversible. Jamie went even further, suggesting that LBC should terminate Fogarty's contract, arguing that her presence contributes to misinformation. He added that this editorial stance could ultimately damage the station's reputation, urging advertisers to reconsider their association with the broadcaster, as aligning their brands with this type of content could prove counterproductive. Personally, I agree with those expressing concern. The systematic denial of such a serious reality not only insults the victims, but also delays any meaningful solution. It's time to put ideological agendas aside and confront the facts with honesty and responsibility. In other news, Nigel Farage has called on the UK government to scrap the HS2 rail project, which has already consumed nearly £30 billion of public funds. The Reform UK leader argues that this money would have been far better spent upgrading the country's existing rail network rather than investing in a high-speed line that, in his view, never made economic sense. During a recent media appearance, Farage questioned why minor budget cuts in other areas are regularly debated, while the staggering cost of HS2 goes largely unchallenged. He reminded the public that he has opposed the scheme since 2010, primarily because it lacked private investment and was, in his opinion, based on flawed logic. One of the project's main selling points was the promise that faster connections between the North and London would boost regional economies. But Farage disputes this claim. To illustrate his point, he cited the example of France's TGV network, where improved travel times between Marseille and Paris reportedly led to businesses relocating to the capital, weakening regional economies. He also referenced comments made by Transport Secretary Heidi Alexander, who blamed the Conservatives for the project's cost overruns and delays. When Farage asked how much had been spent so far, she confirmed the figure, £30 billion. Farage warned that unless action is taken soon, the final cost could easily exceed £100 billion or even £150 billion. He argued that, as in business, sometimes the smartest move is to cut your losses and walk away from a failing investment. He criticized the lack of real-world financial experience among many MPs in Parliament. He reiterated that with just a fraction of HS2's budget, numerous rail routes across the country could be modernized, benefiting millions of everyday passengers rather than a small, wealthy elite commuting to London for business. Farage concluded by stressing that HS2 must be brought back to the forefront of the national debate on infrastructure priorities and public spending. With so much money already committed, and billions more yet to be spent, the future of the project remains uncertain, and pressure is mounting on the government to justify its continued viability. What do you think? Do you support scrapping HS2, or do you believe the project should go ahead? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you haven't already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more updates on UK current affairs. See you in the next video.